Hi, and welcome everyone to my Courageous Conversations. And I'm really excited today because I have the lovely Mariella O'Brien with me. And I've known Mariella for a while now, and she has an amazing business called Mind Garden, which is a community interest company. And their mission is to nurture the well-being of children and teens in the area of York through schools and communities and family support families and all sorts of things. So I'm going to let Mariella talk a little bit about that because it is really such an amazing business. And we're also going to talk about how the work that I do has impacted her over the last sort of 12 months as well, and how that's enabled her even more to pursue her mission, if you like. So welcome, Mariella. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be part of these conversations. I'm great, thank you. And yes, so
Yeah.
Mind Garden York was born last summer in April, kind of following the Courageous Females program. But it had been in the making for quite a few years before that, as I'd got some of this understanding that you share, and felt really passionate about sharing it with younger people because I felt deeply moved by it, and I just felt that I wish I'd known this when I was younger. I wish I'd known this when I was going through my teens and then early 20s and 30s even. And that's kind of where the inspiration is. But I have to say, I went through quite a few years of thinking that I had to have every training and every possible certificate before I can do anything. um, and I was so pleased to meet you and to know that there's Three Principles based coach working with local businesses in and around York, and obviously across the country and across the world. But for me, that kind of closeness and the fact that the course would be for women who are based around York, and that was a really, really attractive part of it for me. It made it more real and very practical, and that's what when I think about that program, the Courageous Females program that you created last year, I knew I had to be part of it.
It's it's incredible, isn't it? You know, when you think about it, that it was like a year ago and that you'd been thinking about this project for a while. And I think anyone who comes across the Three Principles, and if they're older in life, they're like, why don't young people have this? Why don't they share this more? And of course, I know that there are other people who do, but I was just really excited to hear your passion about sharing the principles with young people and children to gain this understanding, and really pleased that by going on the course, if you like, it kind of gave you that little bit more of a push to create the company and really take that first step, because we do, don't we get really caught up with, well, I don't feel ready, and do I have enough qualifications, do I tick all the boxes, and we want all our ducks very neatly in a row, don't we, before we take that leap of faith, if you like. So what was it that changed, that kind of made you go, no, I'm gonna just do it now, if you can remember?
Well, yeah, it's um, trying to pinpoint one or two things, but seeing that other women are doing it, and other women are taking what they're passionate about and putting their skills in service to the world. And also for myself personally, getting over that fear of being visible, of being out there and just kind of stating to the world, this is what I believe in, this is what I'm passionate about, and this is what I want to do. And I had done it for, as I mentioned previously, as part of other people's campaigns or other people's projects, but not standing up as my own, this is what I want to put out into the world. And actually creating it as a community interest company, because these wanting to reach children in schools and communities, it's not always, the funding is not always there, or kind of the people who perhaps would benefit from this understanding might not be able to afford it. So it felt to me important that I chose this kind of company structure, and to move forward with it just fitted for me and kind of what I believe in. So it was that, it was August last year. And it just felt like it just had to be done.
Oh, I love that. I love that feeling like there's just no option. You just have to do it. And I love that feeling of knowing that, we all get that we just have to kind of take this step. But it was interesting as well that you talked there about fear and almost about hiding behind other people and being part of other people's projects. And I think that so many women identify with that, of not wanting to stand out on their own and be seen. And maybe it's, I don't know, what do you feel was stopping you from doing that before, when you said you were scared and there was a fear there? And if you're happy to share what.
It's just a lot of different realizations coming together, I suppose, in that time. But yes, fear is that fear of visibility. What's behind it is the fear of making like getting it wrong, and falling flat on your face, or or being questioned for what you believe in and whether it's the right thing to do. And I suppose ultimately is wanting to get it right and to have it all planned out and mapped out from the very outset, which is impossible, clearly. But it's like just taking that first step without knowing how it's gonna unfold. It's just following that feeling that it feels right, and I need to do this. And behind that fear of visibility, I had this realization through various conversations that, and I'm pretty sure you've mentioned it as well, that life is a contact sport. We have to be in it, otherwise we're just a bystander. And through being engaged and involved, we find a way forward. We can't have the full path worked out. We just have to follow. That phrase, follow the breadcrumbs, just and then see how it unfolds. So it kind of I finally saw that for what it was, and just allowed me to move forward. But it's always helpful to be surrounded by people who kind of taking those same steps and feeling insecure about them, but doing it anyway, and seeing how it all works out.
I think that's so helpful, isn't it? Kind of being in a community where particularly other women are feeling the same, in having that same issue with either fear or a lack of confidence, or because I've had that you know, all my life, and I wouldn't want anyone to be listening to this and think, oh yeah, it just magically disappears and you never have an insecure thought ever again. I mean, of course we all do, because we're all human. But knowing what that is and what information that is or is not giving you, so that it releases you to be able to follow those breadcrumbs, knowing that you're going to be okay at every single stage, is so, well, to me, it was so liberating to be able to not have to have it all mapped out, to not have to have the whole 5-year plan, and knowing that at each stage I was going to be okay. I could literally just take the next step. And when I got there, I could then take the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't think of myself as somebody who can create their own business and run their own business. And it was just this, just seeing it for what it is, just an insecure thought. And ever since, through being in the Courageous Leaders community, and also, you know, the further coaching I've done with you, I've seen, yeah, I bring so much of my of that insecure, I'm not enough thinking to everyday tasks even. And they almost put a filter on everything that needs to be done. And when we take that filter off and we see it for what it is, it's just easy. Things just happen. Things just get done, regardless of, you know, how I feel about them. Like we've spoken, the very practicalities, and that's what I've loved about the program, is the very, for me, it's felt like deepening of my understanding, but also making this understanding really practical, in like for business and for everyday life. And it's those practical tasks of registering a company with on the HMRC website, and opening a bank account, and things that have carried, I've had so much thinking about, that's old thinking, that's redundant, it's not useful anymore, but I've carried it around and made it feel so hard. All these things and all these practical things that just need to get done, and I've done them with such ease. And yeah, after managing to drop that filter of, you know, I'm not good enough, who am I to do this, and all the past insecure thinking, if you kind of, as you've said to me, you know, keep it clean, just go do it. That's been so useful.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, it fascinates me and it astounds me as well, in almost an equal measure, like how much we all get in our own way, and you know, and me included, you know, and you'll make something so much bigger than it is, and just the power of noticing what you're doing, and I mean, oh yeah, I don't need to do that, like I can just do this and I'll be okay. Knowing that you'll be okay is just so, I find it really kind of liberating and empowering and, well, freeing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, we get tangled up in our old thinking, and then we ask these how questions. I've been very good at that. It's like, but how do I do this when it just feels, and then that's not the right question to be asking. It's actually looking in the direction of why. If it feels hard, then there's a lot of redundant thinking in the way, and without it, you don't even need to ask the how question.
And it's incredible, isn't it? And how often that is like 57 steps ahead of you, you know, yeah, but how do I do that? And it's like, well, you don't need to know how to do that yet, because you're not even there yet.
Yeah.
And it's incredible, because then when we get there, we know how to do it, you know, because we've done all the steps before. Yeah, it's so it's so lovely to see, and so lovely to see that, because we then realized that we were never really stuck. We felt stuck, but we weren't stuck. And that just falls away. Yeah. Mm. So,
Mm.
so would you recommend the program to other women who might be feeling like you were a year ago?
Yes, absolutely. I have and now continue to recommend the program to to women. It's brilliant, and yeah, I mean everybody should go on it.
I don't think I can get a better endorsement than that, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I've really been benefited from working with you, being part of the program, being part of the community on an ongoing basis now, and having that ongoing support. Yeah, it's been really beneficial for me, so I couldn't recommend it more.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, Mariella, for sharing your journey and your insights. I know, when you were talking, I could relate so much to what you were saying, from my own journey. And so I'm sure that those who are listening will really relate to it. So thank you for your openness in sharing that today. And if you are interested in the Courageous Females program, then it starts at the beginning of May, on May the 10th, and you can find out more details on my website, which is andreamorrison.co.uk, or you can follow the link in the comments box to this video. Thank you very much, and thank you again, Mariella.
My pleasure. Thank you.